The book of Second Samuel, chapter 16, verse 1, 2 Samuel 16 and 1, 2 Samuel, the 16th chapter, and the first verse. Ziba meets David. David went a short way over the top of the Mount of Olives and met Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth. Ziba had 2 donkeys with saddles on them. The donkeys also carried 200 loaves of bread, 100 bunches of raisins, 100 summer fruits. What is that? And a wineskin full of wine. King David said to Ziba, "What are these things for?" Ziba answered, "The donkeys are for the king's family to ride on. The bread and the summer fruit are for the servants to eat. And the wine is refreshment for whoever begins to feel weak in the desert." Then the king asked, "And where is Mephibosheth?" That's the question I want to know. Ziba answered the king, "Mephibosheth is staying in Jerusalem. He said, 'Today the Israelites will give my father's kingdom back to me.'" You lying wonder. Then the king said to Ziba, "All right, I now give you everything that belonged to Mephibosheth." Just that quickly? Ziba said, "I bow to you. I pray I will always be able to please you, you lying devil." Shimei curses David. As David came to Bahurim, a man from Saul's family, Shimei, son of Gera, came out cursing David again and again. Shimei began throwing stones at David and his officers. Both the people and the soldiers gathered around David to protect him. They were all around him. Shimei cursed David. He said, get out, you no good murderer. The Lord is punishing you because you killed people in Saul's family." Huh? When did David kill anybody in Saul's family? You stole Saul's place as king? How can that be? Saul died. And then Ishbosheth was the king. And then Ishbosheth was murdered and David became king. He didn't steal nothing. But now the same bad things are happening to you. The Lord has given the kingdom to your son Absalom because you are a murderer. I wonder, who is he talking about? Abishai, son of Zeruiah, said to the king, "Why should this dying dog curse you, my lord, the king? Let me go over and cut off Shimei's head." But the king answered, "What can I do of Zeruiah?" Sons of Zeruiah, "Yes, Shimei is cursing me, but the Lord told him to curse me." Now God didn't. Okay. "And who can ask him why he did that?" David also said to Abishai and all the servants, "Look, my very own son is trying to kill me. So why shouldn't this man from the tribe of Benjamin want to do the same? Leave him alone. Let him continue to curse me. The Lord told him to do this. Maybe the Lord will see the wrong things that are happening to me and give me something good for every bad thing that Shimei says today." So David and his men went on their way down the road. Shimei kept following David. He walked on the other side of the road by the side of the hill. He kept cursing David on his way. Shimei also threw stones and dirt at David. King David and all his people came to the Jordan River. They were tired, so they rested and refreshed themselves there. Meanwhile, Absalom, Ahithophel, and all the Israelites came to Jerusalem. David's friend Hushai the Archite came to Absalom and told him, "Long live the king! Long live the king!" Absalom answered, "Why are you not loyal to your friend David? Why did you not leave Jerusalem with your friend?" Hushai said, "I belong to the one that the Lord chooses. These people and the people of Israel chose you. I will stay with you. In the past, I served your father, so now I will serve you, David's son." Absalom asked Ahithophel for advice. Oh, that was the plant. That was the spy. Absalom asked Ahithophel for advice. Absalom said to Ahithophel, "Please tell us what we should do." Ahithophel said to Absalom, now these are some tongue-twisting names, "Your father left some of his slave women here to take care of the house. Go and have sexual relations with them. Then all the Israelites will hear how you humiliated your father, and they will be encouraged to give you more support." Ahithophel's dirty, low down and dirty. Put that in the comment section. Ahithophel is low down and dirty. Then they put up a tent for Absalom on the roof of the house. Absalom had sexual relations with his father's wives so that all the Israelites could see what happened. That's low down. So in those days, Ahithophel's advice was very important. Both David and Absalom accepted his advice as though it were the word of God. 2 Samuel 17, Ahithophel's advice to David, or about David. Ahithophel also said to Absalom, "Let me choose 12,000 men to chase David tonight. I will catch him while he's tired and weak. I'll frighten him and all his people will run away, but I will kill only King David. Then I will bring all the people back to you. If David is dead, all the people will come back in peace." Now, Ahithophel is worse than Judas. Judas turned Jesus over to be betrayed. He betrayed him, but Ahithophel actually says, "I'm going to kill him." I'm not turning him over to nobody. I will catch him while he's tired. I will frighten him and I will kill him. That's wow, wicked. This plan seemed good to Absalom and all the leaders of Israel, but Absalom said, now call Hushai the Archite. I also want to hear what he has to say. All right, here goes the plot, David's plot. Hushai ruins Ahithophel's advice. Hushai came to Absalom. Absalom said to Hushai, this is the plan Ahithophel gave. Should we follow it? If not, tell us. Hushai said to Absalom, Ahithophel's advice is not good this time, Hushai added. You know that your father and his men are strong men. They're dangerous as a wild bear when something has taken its cubs. Your father is a skilled fighter. He will not stay all night with the people. He's probably already hiding in the cave or some other place. If your father attacks your men first, people will hear the news and think Absalom's followers are losing. Then even your bravest men will be frightened because all the Israelites know that your father is a powerful soldier and that his men are very brave. This is what I suggest. You must gather all the Israelites together from Dan to Beersheba. Then there will be many people like the sand by the sea. Then you must yourself must go into battle. We'll catch David wherever he's hiding and attack him with so many soldiers that they will be like dew that covers the ground. We'll kill David and all of his men. No one will be left alive. But if David escapes into the city, all the Israelites can bring ropes in that city and pull its walls down into the valley. Not even a small stone will be left in that city. Absalom and all the Israelites said, Hushai's advice is better than Ahithophel's. Actually, Ahithophel's advice was good, but they said this because the Lord had decided to make Ahithophel's advice useless. He did this to punish Absalom. Hushai sends a warning to David. Hushai told the priests Zadok and Abiathar what was said. He told them that what Ahithophel suggested Absalom and the leaders of Israel. Hushai also told him what himself had suggested. He said, send a message to David now. Tell him not to spend the night at the places where the people cross into the desert. Tell him to go across the Jordan River at once. If he crosses the river, the king and all his people will not be caught. The priest's sons, Jonathan and Ahimaaz, did not want to be seen going into town, so they waited in Regal. A servant girl went out to them and gave them the message, and Jonathan and Ahimaaz carried the message to King David. But a boy saw Jonathan and Ahimaaz and ran to tell Absalom. You old low-down, dirty boy. Wow, there's some low-down, dirty, crooked people that are mentioned in this Bible. Wow. Instead of minding your own business, you're going to run and tell Absalom. Jonathan and Ahimaaz ran away quickly. They arrived at a man's house in Bahurim. The man had a well in his courtyard. Man, there are some cutthroat, dirty, conniving, backstabbing folks in this holy Bible. Jonathan and Ahimaaz went down into this well. The man's wife spread a sheet over the mouth of the well and covered it with grain. The well looked like a pile of grain, so no one would know to look there. Absalom's servants came to the woman at the house. They asked, where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? The woman said to Absalom's servants, they've already crossed over the brook. Absalom's servants then went to look for Jonathan and Ahimaaz, but they couldn't find them. So Absalom's servants went back to Jerusalem. After Absalom's servants left, Jonathan and Ahimaaz climbed out of the well and went to King David. They said to David, hurry, go across the river. Ahithophel is planning to do something to you. So David and his people crossed over the Jordan River. By sunrise, all of David's people had crossed the Jordan River. No one was left behind. Ahithophel kills himself. When Ahithophel saw that the Israelites did not do what he suggested, he saddled his donkey, went back to his hometown. He made plans for his family and then hanged himself, just like Judas. They buried him in his father's tomb. What a terrible end to a man that had such a promising future. Man that was working for the king, but because you're two-faced, backstabbing, conniving, low down and dirty, look what ends up happening to you, and that's your legacy that's left for thousands of years. Absalom crosses the Jordan River. David arrived at Mahanaim just as Absalom and the Israelites who were with him crossed over the Jordan River. Absalom and the Israelites made their camp in the land of Gilead. Absalom had made Amasa the new captain of the army. He took Joab's place. Amasa was the son of Ithra the Ishmaelite. His brother Abigail was the daughter of Nashal, the sister of Joab's mother, Zariah. Hopefully everybody remembers all of that family tree. Shobi, Machir, and Barzillai. I tell you these names. When David arrived at Mahanaim, Shobi, Machir, and Barzillai were there. Shobi, son of Naash, was from the Ammonite town of Rabbah. Machir, son of Amiel, was from Lodebar. Barzillai was from Rogelim in Gilead. Rogelim. What a town to be from. Where are you from? Rogelim. These three men said, these people are tired, hungry, and thirsty from the desert. So they brought many things to David and those with him. They brought beds, bowls, and other kind of dishes. They also brought wheat, barley, flour, roasted grain, beans, lentils, dried seeds, honey, butter, sheep, and cheese made from cow's milk. 2 Samuel 18, David gets ready for battle. David counted his men and chose captains over 1,000 and captains over 100 to lead them. He separated the people into 3 groups and sent them out. Joab led a third of the men. Joab's brother Abishai, son of Zeruiah, led another third, and Ittai from Gath led the last third. King David said to the people, I will also go with you. But they said, no, you must not go with us. If we run away in the battle, Absalom's men will not care. Not even if only half of us are killed. Absalom's men will not care. But you are worth 10,000 of us. It's better for you to stay in the city. Then if we need help, you can come and help us. The king said to them, I will do what you think is best. Sounded like you really didn't intend to go in the first place. Oh, Lord. You didn't even argue with me. I'll do whatever you all say. I guess I won't go. Then the king stood by the gate as the army went out in groups of 100 and 1,000. The king gave command to Joab, Abishai, and Ittai. He said, do this for me. Be gentle with young Absalom. Everyone heard the king's orders about Absalom to the captains. David's army defeats Absalom's army. David's army went out into the field against Absalom's Israelites. Absalom's Israelites. They fought in the forest of Ephraim. So this is like a civil war. David's army defeated the Israelites. It was a great defeat because 20,000 men were killed that day. David's army defeated his own soldiers. Civil war. The battle spread throughout the country, but more men died in the forest than by the sword. And it so happened that David's officers found Absalom. Absalom jumped on his mule and tried to escape, but the mule went under the branches of a large oak tree. The branches were thick, and Absalom's head got caught in the tree. His mule ran out from under him, so Absalom was left hanging above the ground. Someone saw this happen and told Joab, I saw Absalom hanging in an oak tree. Joab said to the men, why didn't you kill him and let him fall to the ground? I would have given you a belt and 10 pieces of silver. The man said to Joab, I would not try to hurt the king's son if he gave me 1,000 pieces of silver. We heard the king's command to you, Abishai, and Ittai. The king said, be careful not to hurt young Absalom. If I kill Absalom, the king himself would have found out and would punish me. Joab said, I will not waste my time here with you. Absalom was still alive and hanging in the oak tree. Joab took 3 sticks in his hand and hit him in the heart. Wow. 10 of Joab's young helpers gathered around Absalom and killed him. So sad. Absalom had so many issues that were not handled. He was still grieving the fact that his sister was taken advantage of by his half-brother. His father didn't do anything about it. And what a terrible end to this young man's life. Very sad, very sad. Joab blew the trumpet and called the people to stop chasing the Israelites. And Joab took Absalom's body. Joab's men took Absalom's body and threw it into a large hole in the forest and covered it with stones. You are a dirty, low-down dog. But Joab's going to get what's coming to him. You're going to reap what you sow. Evil. All the Israelites ran away and went home. While Absalom was alive, he put a memorial stone in King's Valley. He said, I have no son to keep my name alive. So he named that monument after himself. It is called Absalom's Monument even today. So sad that Absalom's life turned out like that. Joab sends the news to David. Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok, said to the king, may I run and take the news to King David? I will tell him that the Lord destroyed the enemy for him. Joab answered Ahimaaz, no, you will not carry the message today. You can do it some other time, but not today, because it's the king's son who's dead. Yeah, because you killed him. Then Joab said to a man from Ethiopia, go tell the king what you've seen. So the Ethiopian bowed to Joab and ran to tell David. But Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, begged Joab again, no matter what happens, please let me also run after the Ethiopian. Joab said, son, why do you want to carry the news? You will not get any reward for the news you bring. Ahimaaz answered, no matter what happens, I will run to David. So Joab said to Ahimaaz, all right, run to David. And Ahimaaz ran through the Jordan Valley and past the Ethiopian. David hears the news. David was sitting between the 2 gates of the city. The watchman went up to the roof over the gate walls and saw a man running alone. The watchman shouted to tell King David. David said, if the man is alone, he's bringing news. The man came closer and closer to the city. But then the watchman saw another man running. He called to the gatekeeper, look, another man is running alone. The king said, he's also bringing news. The watchman said, I think the first man runs like Ahimaaz, son of Zadok. King said, Ahimaaz is a good man. He must be bringing me good news. Ahimaaz called to the king, all is well. Ahimaaz bowed with his face to the ground in front of the king and said, "Praise the Lord your God. The Lord has defeated the men who are against you, my lord and king." You ran all the way just so that you could get some brownie points? The king asked, "Is young Absalom all right?" Ahimaaz answered, "When Joab sent me, I saw some great excitement. I don't know what it was." The king said, "Step over here and wait." Ahimaaz went there and stood waiting. The Ethiopian arrived and said, "News from my lord the king. Today the Lord has punished all those who are against you." The king asked the Ethiopian, "Is young Absalom all right?" The Ethiopian answered, "May your enemies, whoever tries to hurt you, suffer the same as this young man." Ooh. I know that cut David to his heart to hear that. And all because you sinned with Bathsheba. God said the sword will never leave your house. The little baby died. Your oldest son took advantage of his half-sister. Absalom turned on you. And now this man comes and tells you this news. May your enemies suffer the same as this young man did. It doesn't say he just died, but he suffered. Woo, I know David couldn't handle that. My God. So the king knew Absalom was dead and became very upset. He went upstairs to the room over the gate crying, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom. I wish I had died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." Woo, what a terrible way to end today's reading. But this is the word of the Lord. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe. Put in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord. And it's amazing to see the hurt and the terror and the suffering that comes to David's life as a result of his sin. It's terrible. All right, encourage other people to read along with us as we read through the Bible.